Not a shocker here, but Sam Seder and Emma Vigeland are going to float that perhaps Jimmy Dore is a sexist. The videos that they show him yelling at Matt Stoller, and they show him yelling at David Serrato. Matt Stoller, when it's on the Katie Halper show, Bree Joy was there, and when he's yelling at Matt Stoller, he was very particular. No, I'm not yelling at the ladies, I'm yelling at the man. He was very specific in, So Jimmy Dore is married. Okay, so Emma Vigeland is going to call Jimmy Dore a sexist, and Emma Vigeland is going to be against universal health care. Listen.
You need to have power to exercise power.
When we're engaging in politics, that's when he gets nervous. When it's not just emotion and vitriol, that's when he gets nervous. Right. When you actually have to make tough decisions on how things are going to happen. And again, a Medicare for All vote. I was more in your camp, Sam, before this when I thought about it, oh, that's one good thing to leverage. But I don't even think it is a good thing to leverage. We already know the over 100 co-sponsors on the Medicare for All bill. We know that from last year. It's not going to have changed this time around. It's going to fail, and that could hurt Medicare for All going forward. It's infinitely more important to leverage those committee chairships because he doesn't understand how politics work.
No, I don't think you understand, Emma Vigeland. We need to get universal health care. We need to stop police brutality. We need to end the wars. Now, here's the two main things. I think I want to get a top 3 list. Universal health care, definitely $2,000 per month until the pandemic is over. We need to make this, COVID-19 go away, SARS-2. And that's more scientific, I think, SARS-2. We haven't even agreed on what to call the damn thing. But in order to, combat SARS-2, we need to get universal health care for everybody. That, helps a bunch. And then also $2,000 a month for everybody. And then we need to do something major for police brutality. Something major. I think just put Juan Castro, whichever Castro, put him that had the police reform ideas, put him in charge of police reform and just do whatever he says. So let's end police brutality. Let's get $2,000 per month to help with the struggling economy because of SARS-2. SARS-2 is kicking the shit out of America's ass. And let's get us some universal health care. You just heard Emma Vigeland say it's not a good idea. We shouldn't even push these representatives, the progressives, the 12, she said, what are there, 4 progressives? There's 12, okay? So I'm going to read these off to Emma Vigeland. That way she is educated and understands, who the progressives are in the House of Representatives. You got AOC, these are the current ones. You got some new ones, too. So Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC, Ayanna Pressley, Ro Khanna, Pramila Jayapal, and Mark Pocan. These are all fantastic people. I'll read this list again. Mark Pocan, Pramila Jayapal, Ro Khanna, Ayanna Pressley, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and AOC. You got 5 incoming progressives: Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush, Marie Newman, Mondaire Jones, and Richie Torres. Those are the 12 people. Those are the 12 people, and what's shocking is that they're all, they're females or people of color. There might be one. I don't know if there's any white people, white women, white men. Where are the progressive whites at? They're all like Emma Vigeland. White people are not progressive. And so we need more white men and women in the House of Representatives. Why are the few people of color that are in the House of Representatives the only fucking progressive chance that we have in this nation? This litmus test is important because the U.S. Congress, under this right-wing neoliberal Joe Biden, we have no chance of saving America at all. If we pressure the progressives to get us, to end police brutality, to get $2,000 a month, and to get us universal health care, then we'll actually save America, save the Democratic Party, and it'll be good for everybody. If these progressives do not pressure Nancy Pelosi to get these progressive measures, then there is no hope. There is no hope whatsoever. The U.S. government ain't going to do shit. Barack Obama was a marginal change. Bill Clinton was a marginal change. We're we're kicking the ball. Well, we're moving the 5 feet up, 10 feet back. We're going backwards. 72% of the American people want universal health care. Emma and Sam Seder. 72% in a Fox News poll. Does Sam Seder ever do any polls? So Emma Vigeland wants to level and, float the idea. I guess they didn't specifically say he was. Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland are floating the idea that Jimmy Dore is a sexist. Well, let's analyze that. He's married. I guess, people, I don't think he's ever had any domestic violence charges. I don't think that she seems happy as hell. So it doesn't seem like he's ever, smacked her around or anything. Like, if you're a sexist, you're a misogynist and you have a deep-seated hatred for women, can you really carry on a relationship it doesn't look like it's oppressive? It looks like they work in tandem with one another. Steph Zamorano, my God, that's, I think, a great example of how Jimmy Dore isn't a sexist. He makes Steph Zamorano happy, and Steph Zamorano and Jimmy Dore's relationship is the ideal relationship. It's the best relationship out there. It's one that I aspire to be. They talk to each other, they play off of each other, they make each other laugh, and they want to change the world. They want the world to become a better place. So, Jimmy Dore is a sexist? Then you better tell Steph Zamorano that. You need to let Steph Zamorano know that, Jimmy Dore is a sexist. Now, let's play a little bit more clips here. I got one more.
Change things, like Richie Neal being the chair of Ways and Means. That's a massive...
Yeah, get rid of Richie Neal. Emma Vigeland, good idea. Get rid of Richie Neal. That's fine.
Impediment to progressive change, but he is not interested in understanding that. And what Naomi said earlier, I think, is really important. The fact that he is preying on people and their hurt and their emotion and lack of representation in democratic leadership, and making them basically nihilists and misleading them into thinking that Ocasio-Cortez, one of the 4 people fighting for us, is the problem. That's who you should direct your anger to. Potentially because she's a woman. I just get that vibe. I really do. And I know that Francesca Fiorentini faced ridiculously insane sexist attacks from him in DMs and stuff.
Oh, well, this guy...
that's where it is. Clear. That's where it resides.
Jimmy pretends like I don't exist, but he...
Right after calling Jimmy Dore a sexist, Sam Cedar goes, he acts like I'm not even here. He just has contempt for me. He doesn't acknowledge me. He doesn't say, good job, buddy. He doesn't even respect me enough to hate me. Jimmy doesn't ever call. He doesn't email. He doesn't tweet back. He just doesn't say nothing. Weird follow-up, to Emma Vigeland's maybe Jimmy Dore's sexist. So he's married. Okay, it's a possible, I don't know. Maybe it's just a huge cover-up. It's actually fucking ironic that Emma Vigeland and Sam Cedar are going to go after Jill Stein and Tulsi Gabbard in their hatred of Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore supported Jill Stein. Jimmy Dore supported Tulsi Gabbard. 2 great women. So if there's any, maybe Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland are sexist. They hate Tulsi Gabbard and Jill Stein with a passion. They're, not only are they females, but they are great women. They are great women, and they act like, well, Jimmy Dore supports them, so fuck Jimmy Dore, and fuck you. No, fuck you. They support 2 great, Jimmy Dore supports Tulsi Gabbard and Jill Stein. Jill Stein's perfect in every way. Tulsi Gabbard, she's not right on her policy. She evolves, but I like more about Tulsi than I don't. So perhaps Emma Vigeland and Sam Cedar are the sexist ones. And guess who gave Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez her first interview, her first media interview? Who discovered Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? I think you can make a strong argument that Jimmy Dore discovered her. He was the biggest show that interviewed her first. So I think you can make a good argument. Here is Jimmy Dore discovering AOC. If Jimmy Dore wasn't on the scene, we wouldn't have AOC. Jimmy Dore discovered her. So, a sexist? Why would a sexist misogynist have a be happily married to a woman and have a great relationship with a woman? How can a misogynist get a person running for Congress on his show, and how could he talk to her? How could he even, and then he's highlighting hers, campaign to get her elected. This must be the worst goddamn misogynist on the face of you know, the earth and all of history and all the galaxies.
I have a special guest. It's a Justice Democrat, and she's also affiliated with the brand new Congress, and she's primarying a corporate Democrat in the 14th Congressional District of New York. Please welcome our guest. She is a organizer. She's a former social entrepreneur, and now she's going to shake up the Democratic Party. It's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Hi, Alexandria.
Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic now that you're with us because you are exactly what the Democratic Party needs. You are young, full of energy, and progressive ideas. Tell me, what made you want to get into this?
Wow, young, energetic, progressive, full of ideas, exactly what the Democratic Party needs. What a sick misogynist. His whole brand is just shitting on AOC. That's all Jimmy Dore cares about, just shitting all over her. This is a overly glowing, overly softball interview here.
This race, and what made you want to primary a corporate Democrat?
Well, I think we realized last year exactly the extent of problems in terms of the influence of Wall Street, not just in the Democratic Party, but in our political system in general. And if we're really going to have a representative democracy, we have to mount primary challenges by candidates who are grassroots supported and are not purchased by private industries.
And you don't think the Democratic Party is already doing that?
I mean, what I will say is that there are progressives in the Democratic Party that are mounting serious challenges, and we aren't afraid to mount challenges in districts that are previously seen as lost causes. I think a really great example here is Christine Pellegrino. She just ran a phenomenal race here in my home state of New York, and she took a district that went 20 points to Trump last year, and she turned it into a progressive district with progressive representation. And I think that is the future of this country. That is what is possible when we actually organize people, educate them on the issues, and really represent authentic issues that lift ordinary working class and middle class Americans.
So let's talk about your race in particular real quick. You are primarying Joseph Crowley, who is tell me about Joseph Crowley. Now, people would say you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to primary a Democrat, but he's not really. He's a Democrat in name only, and isn't that true?
Well, I think what my opponent represents is a very, very challenging and disturbing trend in our electoral politics. We do have some good votes in this seat when it comes to issues on LGBTQ representation, but really, this seat has a very problematic incumbent, and I'll tell you why. It's because Joseph Crowley, again, he's my opponent, he accepts $3 million a year in Wall Street, real estate, and corporate finance industries. The problem with that, when he accepts so much money, he's never been primaried. And because he's never been primaried, he takes this $3 million a year that he raises, and he brings other representatives into the orb of Wall Street. He doles this money out throughout the Democratic Party and Congress, and then, as a consequence, he's become a very, very, very powerful member of the House of Representatives as a Democrat, and he's gained an enormous amount of influence, spreading corporate influence around. As a result, he's never supported single payer until the week that we announced our primary challenge to him.
Oh, so it's like you're already having an effect, and which is exactly what we wanted. And just let me piggyback off your point about him getting the $3 million, and he doesn't need the $3 million because he's never in a primary race, right?
Look at that, Jimmy Dore, softball interview, letting AOC lay out her case, who she is, what she's about. Essentially has already won Jimmy Dore over, so very nice softball interview. This is the man that hates AOC. This is the man that's a misogynic, whatever. This is a weird misogynist. I would think that if you hated women, you wouldn't go interview progressive women who are running for Congress and help them get elected. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Right, so what does he do with that money? He gives it to his friends, which shores up his power inside the Democratic Party. So if you look at Chuck Schumer, he's the leader of the Democrats in the Senate. Now that that guy looks the opposite of a leader, just physically, just the way he presents himself, he talks. He's the opposite of a leader, and he has no progressive policies. So how does a guy like that become a leader of the Democrats in the Senate? Is because he gets all the cash from Wall Street, and then he gives the cash to his friends, so when it comes time to vote for leader, they give it to the guy who gave them cash. So that's exactly what's going on in District 14, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this is why this race is so incredibly important to anybody who's following progressive politics across the nation. If we can primary this incumbent, then we will have rippling effects nationwide on the impact of money in politics. If we can primary this incumbent, then that means we take $3 million a year outside of this system, which is incredibly influential when it comes to House races. So that's why this seat is so important. And if we can stem that influence nationwide, then not only do progressives stand a chance in other districts, but we also bring the incumbents that are already there left. So it's a win-win either way.
So it's about taking back over the party, the Democratic Party, which the reason why we have Trump is because the Democratic Party turned its back on its base, which is workers, right? So they got in bed with Wall Street, and you can't be in bed with Wall Street and represent workers because Wall Street's agenda is diametrically opposed to workers. They're anti-union. They're about taking good jobs in America and then turning them into bad-paying jobs and shipping them to foreign countries with more poor people in more desperate situations. And so then they get more money. So that's why the money isn't circulating in our economy, because we keep exporting our good jobs. The corporations become more profitable, but that money doesn't what they call trickle down to the people.
He should run for Congress.
In the hands of
I don't know who this guy is. He should run for Congress. Which is why
we have income disparity greater than the Gilded Age right now. People don't realize that.
AOC is really good at listening.
Kind of right?
Yeah, so long as we have candidates of any party that are purchased and unduly influenced by special interests, we will not get Medicare for all. We will not get minimum wage. We will not get fair and just immigration reform. We will not get worker protections, and we will not get trade deals that fairly treat the middle class.
I don't know if you noticed that list that she mentioned. There's healthcare.
Unduly influenced
by 5 issues.
We will not get Medicare for all. We will not get minimum wage. We will not get fair and just immigration reform. We will not get worker protections, and we will not get trade deals that fairly treat the middle class. And so long as corporations have an undue influence, and so long as Joseph Crowley takes $3 million a year in special interest money, we are not going to get policies that advocate for and advance the lives of middle-class people. We're not going to address climate change as quickly as we need to. We aren't going to get the infrastructure spending by unionized workers as much as we need to. So long as this influence is here, we're not going to get anywhere when it comes to the everyday quality of life for families.
That's a hell of a charge. So I hope Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland they're trying to end Jimmy Dore's career. Jimmy Dore thought of a good idea that could help America, so now Emma and Sam want to end his career. What's Steph Zamorano going to do? Huh? Why don't you talk to Steph Zamorano? I want to see these people actually talk to each other. It's so easy just to go on and on, when you're in your little bubbles, but let's talk more. Let's have more conversations. I'm willing to talk to anybody. None of you assholes want to fucking talk to me. But I think it'd be good for everybody, frankly. And I'm fair, and I give everybody a shot. I give everybody, until people show me who they really are, I'll assume you're okay. Anyways, Jimmy's not a fucking sexist MO. Y'all should, shouldn't be saying shit like that. Anyways, peace.